Mbappe's announced he is leaving. He hasn't said what club he's going to, but it's pretty obvious, isn't it? I mean, he's going to go to Los Blancos, Real Madrid, and they're going to win everything for the next 10 years. That's.
Can I ask you something about that though? You know, when we watched, I had the luxury of watching the beautiful game of football the other night, where when Real Madrid took on Bayern Munich, it was like two behemoth clubs going for one another in the European Cup in the semi-final with Wembley on the horizon. Right, it was a great, prestigious game of football. And I'm serious here. I was looking at that Real Madrid team, and I know how good Kylian Mbappe is.
Stop what you're going to do. Do they need Mbappe?
No, it's not do they need Mbappe, but I'm being serious here.
What?
Kylian Mbappe is not a better player than Vinicius Jr., is he?
He is.
He's not?
He is.
No, you can't. Wait, what? No, Ade.
He is.
Kylian, did you see what Vinicius Jr. was doing to Joshua Kimmich on a regular basis in that game?
Kylian Mbappe would do that.
I don't think he would. Not to that level.
And plus, I think Kylian Mbappe, look at the luxury. And by the way, I think he'll move into a number 9 role as well. I think he'll go down the middle and Vinicius will still
maybe they could do that. Or would he keep Hosselu? Does he keep Hosselu out of the team after that performance?
Ex-Stoke footballer.
Yes.
But yeah, that is big news. Look, the video's right in front of us. We can watch it now. It's there. Wow, Kylian Mbappe going. Oh, look,
it can only be Real Madrid, can't it?
Could it be Liverpool?
No, definitely can't be Liverpool. I think in terms of like exploring the actual destination, I feel like it's 99% Real Madrid.
Who else could it be?
Well, it's then about money, isn't it? There are a finite amount of clubs that will have that amount of money because Paris Saint-Germain will be. You know, Paris Saint-Germain are paying him a fortune. Do you remember when they made that error and they made him the sort of de facto sporting director?
Yeah.
Kylian Mbappe will be demanding similar wages. So there are a really finite amount of clubs that will have the.
And it's funny, you say
funds.
Finite. He's leaving one club that could do it in PSG. Real Madrid, I think, is the only one. I know some people will say United,
City.
Chelsea,
City.
City.
City are the club that could. And some would argue that City are the club that.
It would be nice if there was a chase for him. It'd be nice if it wasn't just obvious where he's going, especially if
it is Real Madrid, isn't it?
It is Real Madrid. It is Real Madrid. And they are going to look frightening next season. Although, you never know. They might have to offload some players. Who knows, right? Vinicius potentially, if Mbappe is going to play from that left side. All right, let's talk matters Premier League. Manchester United could cause a problem when Arsenal go there on Sunday. Spurs could cause a problem when City go there midweek. Fulham could cause a problem when City go there tomorrow. You're laughing when I say Fulham.
No, I'm laughing at all of them because ultimately I don't think anyone's going to cause anyone a problem.
So Man City have won the league?
Yeah, I think Man City have won the double. I think Manchester City have got themselves into the perfect situation where they now have a really finite amount of games where they know if they win the next 3 games, they will be crowned double winners. It's as simple as that for them. 4 games.
Next 4 games, yeah.
If they win 4 games in a row, they win the double. And if Arsenal win their remaining games, they will accrue 89 points, which is hugely impressive.
Enormous.
Hugely impressive. Yeah. You know, they've won more games.
What did they get last season again? Was it 84?
Yes.
Was it something like that?
So there's been improvement.
Yeah.
And there's also those victories that are symbolic rather than meaningful. You know, the things like they've won more games than the Invincibles. I think a lot of Arsenal fans, you know, they wax lyrical.
No one's going to care about that, though.
No, I think it matters to a degree, don't you?
So many teams win more games than the Invincibles.
No, but for no Arsenal team has won. Yeah, okay, I think if you think that the way that Arsenal fans look at that Invincible team, they see it as something like truly iconic. I would argue that it isn't even Arsenal's best team. You know, it didn't win the most. I think the Arsenal team that won the double a couple of years earlier, you know, with the Mark Overmars, Nicolas Anelka team, I think you could argue that was a stronger team than the team that actually went invincible. But I think from an Arsenal perspective, that will always be the iconic Arsenal team. And this team now is going to accrue, 1 point less than the Invincible team, 1 point less, and has actually won more games than them.
Yeah, I think that the worst thing for Arsenal, we're all prophesying that Man City are going to go on and win this thing, right? But I think the worst thing for Arsenal, I'm saying it from a Liverpool perspective, is this is their best team in over a decade, and you still maybe don't win it. And it's painful. Trust me, it's painful. I've seen some really good Liverpool teams go toe-to-toe this Man City side, and you think, if this team can't win it, no team's going to win it.
I think that's how you may look when you've run this race a few times as a Liverpool fan. Surely if you're an Arsenal fan here, you can only be invigorated by what you've seen this season. You go, last season we got close, we kind of capitulated. This season we got close, we certainly didn't capitulate. All of the talk about Arsenal being bottlers, being the kind of team that demonstrate a sporting choke, having a weak underbelly, that's gone. So they've got a little bit better again. You know, brilliant last season, didn't quite get it right, and were ultimately the architects of their own downfall. This year, they've gone one better, and Manchester City were just better than them. There was nothing they could do, really. And now they need to be looking at it next season. Can they go one more?
Keep your texts coming in. We just broke the news that Kylian Mbappe will be leaving Paris Saint-Germain. It's obvious where he's going to go, isn't it? He's going to go to Real Madrid and link up with their superstars. A text is coming here from Paul, Man City fan, says, "Evening, chaps. As a City fan, it's 90% done in obviously relation to them winning the league. Only 2 players can stop us. Traore at Fulham, then Son at Spurs. Mbappe, sorry, it's the same as Bellingham, both overrated." Paul, you kind of had me on the first sentence. The second sentence, you're wrong.
I think there's a lot wrong with that text. I mean, I'm grateful that it came in from Paul, but if Paul's fear with regard to Tottenham is Heung-min Son, I feel like there's sort of an open secret in football where nobody's discussing quite how poor Heung-min Son has been for Tottenham. He's the player that should have stepped up this season. You know, Harry Kane moves on. Heung-min Son is the established professional, wonderfully talented, certainly knows where the back of the net is.
Yeah.
And this season, he basically hasn't turned up. But for some reason, nobody's really focusing on that. Nobody's really talking about it.
It's that thing where you think a world-class player will step up in the big games. Maybe that's what it is.
Maybe.
Like, trust me, there's not many forwards going through on goal that I trust more than Heung-min Son.
But not this season, you wouldn't.
Maybe. Yeah,
not this season. He really hasn't been good enough. Also, the thing that you said before, which has now got me thinking.
About what?
Well, you just sort of dismissed my suggestion that Kylian Mbappe will have to play his way into the Real Madrid team.
Yeah.
Because you think he's better than Vinicius Jr.?
Wait 1 second. Do you think Mbappe would have sat down with Real Madrid and they would have said, potentially you could be coming off the bench?
I appreciate that it doesn't sound realistic. No. It doesn't sound right.
No. Do you think he does this whole video announcement just to go and fight for his position at Real Madrid?
I do agree with you. It doesn't sound right. But then I watched Vinicius Jr. play the other night.
So good.
And he blew my mind. He's a dazzling player, very old-fashioned in the way that he runs at his fullback. And he's doing it to Joshua Kimmich. Like, he must have beaten him 6 times properly during the game. Like, actually skinned him.
And by the way, what he does, he takes the mick, he skins you, then he comes back and skins you again. I will say this about Mbappe. Like, I think he's a genius. I've always had this argument. I think he's the best player in the world. But he has been doing it in the French league, which I think we all can agree is not the strongest league. And although he scored nearly 300 goals in that league for both Monaco and PSG, he's now in a bigger league. So we are going to need to see something now.
Do you think it's fair to christen somebody the best footballer in the world if they haven't played in the best league in the world?
All right, fair, you got me on that one.
No, I'm being serious. Like, maybe
we see him in the World Cup, in internationals, where he clearly does step up, and Champions League he steps up as well.
But what you need to perform in a tournament, particularly for a country like France, playing against teams like Australia, no disrespect to them, but they're always going to win. So I don't know. I'm not waxing lyrical about Kylian Mbappe the way that you are, but I do believe that if he ends up at Real Madrid, he will become electric.
He's going to be glorious.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.